Okay, front matter. Title, date, authors, class, professor. Authors, that's your names. Date, good. And title, project title. Oops. Oh, come on. Okay. Introduction. Okay to repeat summary material, but reword. Importance of the project. Why? Oh, here's a little figure about organizing a report, by the way. Executive summary. That's what we're talking about. Prior to the introduction. Executive summary. Introduction. One paragraph. Expand a little bit, maybe 1 page, 2 pages. 1 slide or 2 slides. Importance of the project. Design requirements, benefits. Oh, here's John Steinbeck's. There's no such thing as good writers. There's only good editors. Main body. How were requirements defined? What research, comparative analysis, customer input did you use? Did you interview the customer, find out their needs? Functional requirements. What are they? Alternatives. Design requirements. What are they? Alternatives. Final concept, why it was chosen, where's your decision matrix, fishbones, etc. Screening, brainstorming, and so forth. Evaluation results, your testing or data. And then project schedule, how are you going to accomplish the project? Here's John Steinbeck's writing tips. Abandon the idea you're going to finish. He recommends writing 1 page a day, a little bit at a time, in other words. Just like, if you have a report coming up in 2 weeks, start on it now, a little bit at a time. Write freely and rapidly as possible, throwing everything on the paper. That's like brainstorming. Think of an individual person, not a crowd. Think of one person you're talking to. If you're stuck, go on. That's what number 4 is essentially saying. If a scene or subsection, etc., etc. If you're stuck, go on. Bypass it. Come back to it later. Be careful about gee, I really like this. Don't get stuck on that. You might have to give it up. And say things out loud as you're writing, especially with a presentation. Recommendations and closure, unfinished work. So you've made your product. Ways to improvement. What your project might be at a certain stage of completion. We had to do one project in 2 phases. So then the recommendation and closure would be, okay, what needs to be done to finish the project? Were the design requirements met? Recommendations for future work. Back matter. That's appendices, tables of data, MATLAB programs, MATLAB outputs, Excel outputs, graphs, repetitious graphs. Maybe you show a graph in your report, but you'd put other graphs sort of like it that are like it. You go ahead and put those in an appendix. So here's something you might put in the appendix, all the test results. You'd summarize the test result in the main body. So use a third person, no I or we. You can use the student, the team, the instructor, etc. Use spell check, watch out for usage, verb tenses. Grammarly is a great product for checking your grammar. The professional version, or the one you have to pay for, really gets all the little things taken care of. Okay. Avoid wordiness. No slang. Economy of words. Bullets, short statements. They don't have to be full sentences, by the way. Figures, tables, equations to support text. Right to the point. And then you'll notice the cross out. Now, I hate to say it, our Becoming a Technical Professional book has too much of this bloated. The words are not economical in our textbook. I like the textbook. I think it covers what it needs to cover. It just uses too many words to say it. And I'm working with a publisher now to edit it down to a Reader's Digest version for you guys. We'll see how that works out. COVID really threw a kink in that works. Oral presentations. Now, very similar to written. Structure, very similar. Use bullet points, incomplete sentences okay, and I should have restated that on the written reports. No incomplete sentences on written reports. And I forgot where that point was. Use complete sentences on written reports. On oral reports, you can use phrases and incomplete sentences. Like a written report, you're going to tell them what you're going to say. You tell them, and then you tell them what you said. Tips to reduce anxiety. Fear of public speaking. 74%. Shorter is safer. Here's a little story about George Washington. I don't know if you can read it on the video or the slides. William Henry Harrison is credited with giving the longest speech at an inaugural ceremony. It had 45 words. It took him about an hour. It killed him a month because of pneumonia. It was cold and wet outside when he did it. George Washington came in at 135 words, which is less than a minute. So, reducing anxiety. Test anxiety, any kind of anxiety regarding schoolwork. The best defense is good preparation. Study hard before you go in. Know the content. Visualize, practice, practice, practice. How do you guys get to Carnegie Hall? Give you a moment to think about it. Pause the video if you think you know the answer. Carnegie Hall, it's a famous concert hall in New York. How do you get there? 3, 2, 1. Practice, practice, practice. It's a joke. It's if you want to play in Carnegie Hall, you've got to practice, practice, practice. And of course, if you ask a taxi driver, the directions, that's one thing. It's a play on words. Breathe, relax, release tension, move, eye contact, move your eyes around the room, look at different people at different times. One tip is to look over their heads, because just slightly over their heads, because it looks like you're looking at them. And recently, just like a couple nights ago, Joe Biden and Donald Trump had their debate. And Donald Trump was always looking at Joe Biden. They're presidential candidates. If you see, this is a future date. It's the presidential race going on right now. But Joe Biden looked straight at the camera, which gave an audience the impression he was looking right at them and talking right to them. That's good connection. That's good rapport. It's something you want to do. Outline it like a report, same type of order. Introduction, background, motivation, concepts considered, selected, final concept, closure, and final work. Very much the same order as a written report. Suggestions for presentations. 2 to 3 slides to explain. Highlights, what work, lowlights, problems, issues, barriers, plans, future work. Use visual. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay, here's an ice cream cone. Right? Which do you prefer? The picture or the words? So here's the picture. You can see it instantly. Here's the words. Creamy, delicious, yummy fudge ice cream, smooth chocolate chip, mint ice cream, strawberry ice cream with real chunks of strawberry. Anyway, it goes on with the description, on and on and on. What grabs your attention better? The vast majority of people will say this. Use visuals. Graphs and charts, not tables, for example. A picture of your object, a drawing, those engineering drawings we're learning how to make. Put them in your presentation to illustrate, especially the isometric pictorials, to illustrate what this thing, whatever you're making, is going to do. Handouts, reinforce, summarize, and support. Use color. Time to end this video. We'll pick up with the next video.